Welcome back to another episode. I will probably focus a little bit more on the Can-Am on this one. I do have to do some repairs on the trailer after I hung Jason out to dry about ripping off my marker light, and took my trailer bush out to a camping spot and ripped all but one of my marker lights off. So I've got some slimline ones there. I'll get to work putting those into place, but we'll see what I've got planned on the buggy. I have got a different aerial that I want to put on. A little bit more slimline, a bit more flexy, a bit more my style. I'm going to take this big GME one off, which I've already got the roof off, but you can sort of see the big GME one there flapping around. Not my style. I'll take it off, put a Uniden one on there. I do have to also repair the other mirror on the way in. The track was pretty tight, so I copped a branch to the mirror on the other side, snapped the bolts out, and lucky enough the mirror fell onto the trailer and just stayed there, so that was happy days. I've rescued the mirror, but I'll probably need to pull this one off as well, get some longer bolts, make sure that's all happy days and doesn't happen again. For now, I'll get to work putting this aerial on, and I'll get to work fixing up those marker lights on the trailer. Alright, first thing is the trailer marker lights. I like these little slimline ones. They're probably actually going to look better than the other ones anyway. Those big dumb hump ones. Trailer got absolutely scratched to shit as well, all along there, copped a bit of a beating. I've done the rest of it in bedliner. I might just end up going with that on the guards as well. Keep it a bit more protected and a bit more, if I do seem to go a bit more off-road with it, which is funny and stupid because it's got no suspension under there, because I've always designed it for the race car. I never thought I'd have a buggy when I built it, so I did put all-terrain tyres on it, Firestones of course. Might help make a bit of a difference, but for now I'm going to try and get these marker lights on there, the slimline ones. I've got a couple of holes to thread that through. I'll solder it up and then move on to the next ones. Marker lights are all done, looking pretty good. Be much harder to knock off with a branch as I go into some of these trails. What I will be doing now as well, got the right length bolts for this to go through the mirrors there. What it was, if I can find the other mirror, which I've stashed it somewhere, here it is, toolbox. The first, it must have only had a couple of turns in there, so it's pulled the first few threads out of the mirrors. So that is the bolt that I had in there, and this is the ones, not those ones, they were too long. These ones are the ones going in. There is a size comparison, so quite a few more threads through, I reckon, will do the job and won't yank out as easy, especially as you're ripping past. I mean, the idea is that the mirrors hit and fold in, but if you hit something hard enough there, it's obviously going to rip it out. So try and avoid that if we do rip off one and it's from doing I mean, I'd rather rip one off doing something cool, going fast, not just towing the fucking trailer into the spot. So see how we go on the next one. Both mirrors are on, folded away. I'm not a huge fan of the way they look, I think. I mean, they're alright, they're styled pretty cool, but they're more of a convenience than anything else when you're trying to back in down this bloody S in here. It's handy to be able to not run over the pressure washer and not run over everything else that's lying around. But I'm going to jump up here, undo this old aerial, and to be honest, it's probably not even that old. I'm just pulling it off because I don't want to put the other one on. So I'll undo that bad boy there. Now, I'm not confident enough with shortening, I think they're called coaxial cables. I'm not confident shortening them down, so I'll probably take this one off, bunch mine up and just shove it in the top there. Plenty of space, so I'll just shove it in the top. But I'll get that on, I'll unbolt the other one. Then I'm going to move on to a couple of other things I want to do. I want to flip the shocks. They flip them around so the piggybacks are up here. It's a pretty common mod on these. Got to clean the air filter as well. It's got a foam filter on that one. I always use this stuff, the foam filter cleaner by Penrite. Absolutely magic. Don't have to use petrol and that sort of stuff. Get your hands all smelling like fuel for days. Bang it in there, wash it, rinse it with detergent. Job done. So the little mini aerial is on. I took the bigger one off. I'm only ever going to be talking to dudes who are a couple hundred meters down the trail or whatnot. So I take the big one off. I don't need it. I'm not trying to contact fucking aliens or anything like that, which are 100% real, by the way. So I've got that all tidied up. I'm going to put the roof back on. The bolts were rounded out, so I might try with a riv nut if I can. Riv nut them into place. That way it'll be easier to get them off later down the track, which no doubt I'll have to take the roof off again at some point. I'd love a flat roof, but it's just not going to work with all this going on here. Someone has put a lot of time and effort into doing this custom console, which I'll bob down here, you can see it looks pretty tidy. It houses the UHF and sort of looks like it belongs, you know, so I can appreciate the work that went into that. It's all custom. I'll bang the roof back over. You can't really see it that way anyway. I've got all the lights covering it. Gone ahead and drilled out the holes there to put in the riv nuts. Now, I don't know if I've spoken about riv nuts before or not, but super handy if you don't know what they are. Basically like a pop rivet with thread in the middle. Pop it down in the hole there. Use the gun, pulls it up. Bam, you've got a thread there ready to roll. So I couldn't get the nut on the back there. It was pretty, like it was hard to get onto the nut in the back here. So that made it a bit of a shit fight getting the roof off, but hopefully banging riv nuts, away we go. There we go, roof's on. Riv nuts worked a treat. I've just ended up using body clips in the back. Aerials on too. More my style, like short little aerial. Doesn't look big and dumb and bulky. So next part, we'll jack up the front. I'm gonna have a go at, actually no, I'm not gonna jack up the front. I'm gonna do the back ones first, they're easier. So I've been told I can flip these and tuck them inside here. Just keeps me out of the way from bushes and that. I mean, yeah, probably doesn't look as cool, but I'd rather protect the res there for that one. And then after that, I'll probably have a go at jacking up the front end and undoing these. And hopefully it's as easy as undo them, take the weight off and flip those bad boys. So let's have a go at these back ones first. We'll do that. So I tried to flip these ones. I don't know if I'll include that absolute mess, but basically I tried to undo this and you'll have either seen or didn't see, but it wouldn't work. I can't flip them to protect them and sit them in here because I've got the cargo box on. Not a huge, I mean, not a huge issue. They say to flip them in to keep them protected, but I mean, my thinking is if I've come in hot enough that I'm copping a branch up here, something's gone pretty fucking wrong and I've probably got more to worry about than just the res. So I'll jack the front up though. I think hopefully just undo these off the bulkhead and then flip them with no weight on there. I'll see how well they pivot down the bottom. I might have to undo the bottom one as well. Shouldn't be a huge issue or a shit fight like the other ones, but I'll get the jack and we'll give that a crack. All right, I'm gonna kick off with jacking up the front. Jack the front off. If this jack will even go high enough, that's the other question. They don't usually, because of how much travel these things have. And the jack is maxed out. Have I got wheels off the ground? No. Alright, still all the way up. Alright, plan B. There we go. Got me blocks of wood. Round 2. This will show you how much travel these things have in the front end too. Alright, there we are. And even then, only just off the ground. But that's all we need. And let's undo these bad boys and see if we can flip them without too much effort. I've heard some guys say they need to trim this out, but I'll wait and see what happens. If I have to trim it, I'll trim it. So obviously, if I have to trim it, I'll trim it. If I have to trim it, I'm not going to trim it. Oh, I could just let it sort itself out, but I won't do that. So, rattle gun boy, let's get these things flipped. Sunshine in my window, really elusive lately. Sometimes I get worried about the future, baby. Sunshine in my window, really elusive lately. Pretend like I don't worry when I do. I'm now wondering if they flip them, if they go side to side. Let's see what Google says. There you go. Got to be on the other side of the car. Buggy, side by side, whatever people call them. So out it comes. So I've got to put this one on the other side and the other side on this side, but that gives you a bit of an idea on what the shocks look like in these things. So you can imagine how well they go over the whoops and bumps and take things using Fox shocks as well. A lot of guys in their full drives run these remote reses or piggybacks and that sort of stuff. Look, unless you're doing big jumps and whoops and that sort of stuff, it's just wank factor. You don't really need it, whereas these do need it. So it's a good looking unit. That's why these things cost so much, I guess, as well, because there's a lot of money worth of shocks in these bad boys. So whip out the other side, and I'll put this one in over here. So another thing that you hear about, you don't know quite what they're talking about. They say the bulkhead strengthening or the shock tower strengthening bracket, which I can now see, and you can learn some of these things by pulling things apart and working it out yourself. But this, while it looks nice and strong, actually is just held on by a bit of plastic there. So I can understand why guys upgrade them now, and I'll probably put it on the list of things to do, definitely. I understand I'll probably have to pull the front end off and that sort of thing, but a bolt going through holding such a big shock in just one part here, which I'm sure is strong for what most people do and that sort of thing, but the more and more confident you get with them, the more and more you beat up on them. So I'll definitely put that on the list. If not, maybe talk to my mate Ben, see if we can fab something up as well to strengthen it up. But for now, let's bang these bad boys back in. Side note, I already signed the video off, but I'm going to add this in before or after. No, I'm going to add it in before the end of the video, before the sign off. The sign off happened already. Magic of video. Anyway, I've lowered it down, and I think this is where I'll have to trim, because it sits okay now, but as soon as you go over a bump or whatnot, it's going to hit it. You can even hear this side flexing away. So what I'm going to do, I'll mark it out, I'll trim out there, job done. Well, side note, I'm going to do it with an air saw, but I don't have an air saw at home, so hey Siri, remind me to get air saw when I get to work.
Okay, your reminder is set.
Get asshole? Nope, definitely said get air saw. Classic Siri. What a stitch up. Anyway, I'll get the air saw from work, tidy that up. I'll add this in before the sign off, because then it will make sense, and then job done. But from there, slot the other one in, bolt it all up. Bob's your uncle, Mary's your auntie, shocks are flipped. That'll probably wrap this up for now. There's a never-ending list on the buggy, just like the race car. It's never done, but it will be ready for the weekend. Gonna go out with my mate, go for a bit of a squirt around in it, and then Sunday, dirt bike, back to it, fix everything. Been talking to Tim. His new workshop is almost done. Then we'll get the race car over there for a retune. Hopefully take that out to some events next and go on some more race car adventures. Until then, don't forget, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.